Hello everybody and welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason. This is Freya, if you can see the fuzziness walking by. Hi Fuzz.
And I'm Amy.
This is Amy. And today we're going to continue our geek out.
Here's Freya.
There's Freya. We're going to continue our geek out and we're going to talk about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Season 1. Now, here's the funny thing with this one. This one she wasn't all that interested in. She didn't really care. So, unlike most of our shows that we watch that we cannot watch by ourselves, because the other one must be there, this one she really didn't care about. So she was reading a book. I went ahead and turned it on. And I think it was about halfway through the second episode was when she started watching it. And I have to say, it starts out a little bit slow, like actually most of the Disney shows, they start out kind of slow. And then it kind of really picks up, but it's definitely slower than the other Disney shows, probably because they're really portraying Obi-Wan as kind of crossing in between his General Kenobi days and his Sir Alec Guinness ancient Obi-Wan kind of thing. So he's kind of in the middle. So they're really trying to portray him as a tired old man. I wouldn't say middle-aged by his demeanor, but as a tired old man. A tired old man that has decided that his entire job is to look out for this boy and protect this boy and guard this boy, and he doesn't care about anything else. He wants to turn. He basically is turned away from the Force and away from the Jedi principles. Jedi are being pursued and killed by the Inquisitors, which are basically Sith. I mean, basically, they finally have a chance to bring in a bunch more lightsaber users, because that was always a problem in the original trilogy and all the subsequent ones. There's not enough lightsabers because you only have so many bad and good guys. The Sith only have two, kind of thing. So by bringing in the Inquisitors, that gave them a chance to bring in these other lightsaber and Force users as the bad guys without actually technically having Sith. It's definitely interesting. The only thing, my only logical problem with the Obi-Wan show is the Inquisitors, actually, because this show occurs before A New Hope.
Yeah, they created a paradox.
I don't know, a paradox, but like, where'd they go?
Right. That's what I mean.
These guys are awesome.
They raised a whole bunch of questions that they're going to have to find some kind of placation.
That's true. They may have to find some kind of closure, like they did with Rogue One. They introduced a bunch of awesome characters and then killed them because there was no logical explanation for why these heroes wouldn't have shown up in A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi. So they just killed them. Killed them all. So maybe something like that ends up occurring with the Inquisitors. I don't know if they're going to make a season 2 though, so that's the thing. But so all these Jedi are being hunted, and he even turns one away. Tells them, "Go bury your lightsaber. Forget about everything that you've learned. Go hide. We lost. Go hide." And that's what Obi-Wan is doing. Basically, he's hiding out in the desert. He's a desert hermit. And crabby.
We've all aspired to be.
No, not all of you, but
we are desert hermits.
But we definitely are desert hermits, and she's pretty crabby, so it's the hermit crabs.
Hey.
So
fuck you.
So he's trying to hide. He's just trying to look out for Luke and trying to hide. Meanwhile, these Inquisitors are looking, and he is still a legendary Jedi.
Of course.
So they've been searching for him for, what did they say it was, like 8 years, 10 years?
10 years.
So they've been searching for him for 10 years, and he's been hiding. And, Vader, of course, shows up. And Hayden Christensen shows up in flashback scenes, and he probably was underneath Vader's armor as well. But that was another thing that kind of gave me a few
eyebrow raises,
cognitive dissonances with those flashback scenes, because you can tell that Hayden Christensen is much older than he was when he played Anakin. You could just tell by the lines around his eyes and all that. So it was kind of odd for them to bring him back for those flashback scenes.
The CGI in Mandalorian, or was it the Book of Boba Fett, was a little sketchy with He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Well, very much so. Well, the TV shows have much lower budgets. That's why, frankly, the puppetry and all that with Grogu actually sucks.
It does.
But it was still weird. It's still very, very weird to me, because he didn't fit. So it was definitely a cognitive dissonance there for sure. But outside of that, it was pretty cool to see Hayden Christensen back and to see Obi-Wan and see the lightsabers again. And this time around, they also introduce, I won't say a baby, but a boy, Luke, and Uncle
adorable.
Beru and all that. But the real surprise to me, because I hadn't read any spoilers about the show or anything like that, was that the real central point of the character was actually child Leia.
She was amazing.
Who is a sassy little brat.
Well, I mean, adult Leia was a sassy little brat.
She was. So yeah, I mean, it kind of
tracks.
But so she gets kidnapped by the Inquisitors, and Bail Organa calls Obi-Wan for help, and Obi-Wan turns him down because he believes his job is to guard Luke, and he thinks other people could do a better job. Although I don't think he actually thought that other people could do a better job than him at tracking Leia down. I think he just didn't want to do it. He just didn't want to go.
Tired old man.
And then Bail Organa shows up, convinces him to do it,
Go get my kid.
and he heads on out. Now the thing is, kidnapping Leia was actually a trap for Obi-Wan by the Inquisitors. They kidnapped Leia. They had no idea who Leia was. They didn't know this was Vader's daughter. And Vader doesn't know either. They kidnapped Leia to draw Kenobi out, which succeeds. And Kenobi, you see in the first 4 or 5 episodes how weak he has gotten. His abilities at the Force are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly weak. He's lost so much of his abilities. He really has to strain to do the most minor stuff, like catch the child. He really strained to do it. And he even runs into Vader at one point, who Vader even tells him that he's weak, and his connection to the Force is weak, and he's lost so much.
Because you're hunting me, bro.
And he gave it up. He wasn't using it. He was trying to hide from it.
Because they were hunting
And
him.
I don't think he believed anymore. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he believed in the Jedi principles and the Jedi Order anymore.
He got his heart broken, man.
Exactly. And he lost. Like he
I mean,
puts it at one point. We lost. Like they it's not just that his Padawan turned on him and he had to slice and dice him and barbecue him.
And we all know that you can die from the big sad.
Oh yeah.
So
that was terrible. So
Jesus.
not only all that, but they lost. I mean, that was the biggest thing leading up to A New Hope, is that Sidious won. The Jedi were decimated. Yeah. They were hunted. There was now an empire instead of a republic. The good guys lost, and they lost in a very profound way. And that made that I think really, really, really affected Obi-Wan and his abilities and his connection to the Force. Now, eventually, of course, he gains back his power, and there is a really, really awesome fight scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader that kind of occurs sort of on like a desert planet almost, so they can kind of Super Saiyan each other, and just zip it back and forth, and rocks going and explode, busting through mountains and crap like that. I mean, not mountains, but pillars of rock and all that. But that's pretty much what they were doing. Is they were pretty much they were Super Saiyaning each other, and it was pretty awesome. And I will actually admit this: the winner of that fight was not who I thought was going to win that fight.
I mean, that's fair.
So eventually, of course, he rescues Leia and returns her.
And the adorable droid.
And Leia's little droid. And the thing with Obi-Wan,
Lola.
The thing with Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, versus The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, is I don't recall any tie-ins. I don't recall a single character that crossed over from the other shows, which is pretty interesting.
It's different timeline, isn't it? No, I mean it's different points of time.
Yes, that's right. That's true. That is a prequel, while the other that occurs before New Hope, while the other two occur post Return of the Jedi. That would explain why there's no crossovers. So just so you guys know, there's not going to be any crossovers in that show between the other shows. And otherwise, we're going to go ahead.
That would be a plot hole.
That would be unless it was one of the Yoda species, because they're old enough.
You remember the one that sat on the Senate?
Or or
A female Yoda?
or a Wookiee. A
Rookie?
A rookie Wookiee.
Rookie Wookie.
Because Wookiees are very long lived. I mean, Yoda knew Chewbacca long before Return of the Jedi. So yeah. Anyway, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, everybody. Don't forget to check out Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye now.